Great.
Tiffany Martin's with us today from State Bank, and just been a phenomenal partner with us for a long time. For those of you who have enjoyed getting your checks deposited and paid direct deposited, that is because of these two ladies here that hashed that out a long time ago. And we had that in place, and we're thankful for that, first of all. Second of all, Tiff, you've been just helping a ton of our agents. Real quick, how many Keller Williams agents have you already helped to get approved for the PPP loan?
Yep. So I just quickly added up, and I can see for sure 16 to 17 that we've already had submitted.
That's
now
awesome.
They just opened up April 10th, and then we've got another about 15 in the hatch. So we're working through them.
Awesome. So the reason I wanted to do this real quick live is Rachel and I and Dan and everybody's been getting questions about, hey, the money ran out, what do we do? Well,
Sure.
if you follow the news, and I'm sure some of you do, I saw this afternoon that CNBC said, hey, it looks like Congress is going to have another $300+ billion coming. I want to make sure Keller Williams agents are standing in line to get theirs. And so we just organized this real briefly. We wanted to jump on here and answer some questions. So here's the thing. This program was not well hashed out. It wasn't very thorough. The whole point of this is the government wants to give you money. And whether, if you agree with that or not, is not relevant to me in this conversation. If you want it, I want to help you get it. Okay?
Exactly.
So Tiffany's going to do a great job, even if you haven't previously banked with State Bank. Tiffany's going to be there to work with you because that's what she does. That's her full-time role there. And she does an outstanding job of it. And so we've had agents who've gotten turned down from their bank, and they said, well, I guess I can't get it. And then I said, go talk to Tiffany. And she took care of them and got them. So thank you so much, Tiffany. We appreciate that. And so what I'm going to do is just go open up a form right now. We're going to get right to it. We're going to walk right through a form because this changed, didn't it, Tiff? It started out you had to be LLC, sole proprietor, C Corp. Now it's no, I'm sorry, there was no sole proprietor. Now there is. So that's why we're making sure you guys understand this, okay?
Sure.
So we're going to open up this form, and I'm going to share my screen. Make sure this is showing here. Give me 2 seconds. And we're going to actually walk you right through this actual form, okay? So technical difficulties. Give me 2 seconds here.
No problem.
This always happens to me. Here we go. Oh, nope, wrong one.
So Tiffany, while he's pulling that up, is there any additional forms that they need to bring along with this PPP form?
Sure. And so just to kind of touch on that, we're doing this all electronic until the very end of the phase where we start funding. So we'll actually be doing this through email, but it's going to be the borrower application form, which is what Travis is pulling up. There it is right there. I've seen a few of those in the last couple weeks. And then through correspondence, I'm going to get some personal, identifying information, driver's license, etc. And then there's going to be some tax documents that we're going to need to get. And I can touch on that as we get down to how to figure out your average monthly payroll. So.
Awesome. So let's start with this form right here, Tiffany. Line 1 here. If you're a sole proprietor, you're a 1099er, just a standard individual agent. Check this box right here.
The independent contractor or sole proprietor.
Either one of those are fine.
Yes.
What's the business legal name?
It's yourself. So Travis Lathrop.
Okay.
Unless you have filed like an LLC name, it's just going to be Travis Lathrop.
And the business address is my personal address that I use for taxes, right?
Yep.
And then my personal business tax identification number is just my social.
Yes.
The business phone is my cell phone. Email address is usually going to be my KW. Primary contact would be me, correct?
Yes. That's right.
What is this DBA or trademark if applicable?
So that's if you've actually filed a fictitious name with the Secretary of State. And I've not found many that have done that. Typically, you're just operating as Travis Lathrop. Now, if you're like Travis Lathrop, most amazing realtor ever, and you filed that name, then you put that in there. So.
I've not thought of that, but that would be awesome.
Might go do that afterwards.
Okay, cool. So nobody else get on Secretary of State. Take that. I'm going to take that
there
one. Okay, so now we get into the nuts and bolts of things. How do we get Average monthly payroll.
Okay, so there's going to be two ways, and this is kind of where we really need to hash this out. The easiest way is that you filed your 2019 Schedule C, and we have been told by the SBA that you go down to line 31. That's your net income, and I've heard a little bit of grumbling about how you have to use net and not gross, but you go down to line 31 on your 2019 Schedule C, and you simply divide that by 12, and that's your average monthly payroll.
So let's pause. If they've not done taxes in 2019, what would they use?
Sure. So if you have not done taxes in 2019, you are going to take your 2018 Schedule C. And again, that's the form. It's usually like the 5th or 6th page in the tax return. We've been told to take your 2018 tax return, your 2018 Schedule C, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to find your expense ratio. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide line 31, which is your net profit, by your gross income, which is like your top line. So then you're going to have a number there. And then you're going to multiply that figure that you just came to by your 2019 1099 miscellaneous income that Keller Williams sent you on a 1099 miscellaneous form. So it's a little bit more convoluted, but that's how you get to that figure. So basically we've been told to use 2018's expense ratio. So you take line 31 divided by your total gross income, and then multiply that times your 2019 miscellaneous income.
Okay, so Rachel, you got that? You're nodding your hair, yes. We'll put that in the notes for the comments as well, okay? So then that gives me, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and then there's one other thing. If you have a profit and loss statement for 2019, which most of you are trying to get your 2019 taxes kind of in order, we really need to see that too. So if you could just send me, we're going to be asking for proof of your Schedule C, whichever one you use, 2018 or 2019, and then a profit and loss. If you haven't done 2019 taxes yet, your profit and loss for 2019. So.
Okay, so a little bit extra steps there if you haven't got your 2019 taxes done, but well worth it. It is not that much.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And
now
so then, yeah, go ahead.
Keep going. You take control.
Okay. Yeah, so then once you have that figure, and they're calling it your average monthly payroll, which we know, like my husband, it's just kind of whatever he makes that he takes as income.
Right.
But once you have that average monthly payroll that you've come to, the figure, you take that times 2.5, and that is your loan amount. So, if you basically you've taken line 31, you divide it by 12, and then you multiply that by 2.5, and that's how much you qualify for your loan amount.
So let's say somebody made $45,000 last year in real estate. We would take that divided by 12. That'd be $3,750. Take that times 2.5, and I'd have $9,375. I would put in there. Number of employees would be 1, correct?
That's right. And sorry, something else that I really need to touch on here. Okay. So not only is it net profit or net income, which is the line 31 after you've taken out your expenses, but let's say your net income is over $100,000. You have to cap it at $100,000.
It's a great point.
So you take that times 2.5. Yeah, so if you make over $100,000, your amount is going to be $20,333. I'll double check myself. I've seen that a few times. Yeah, your average monthly payroll is $8,333, and you take that multiplied 2.5, and that ends up being $20,300. Yep. So, but that's really important.
That's the max that you could get.
Yes.
So make sure people understand.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Just to repeat that figure, if you're capping it at $100,000, then your average monthly would be $8,333 times your 2.5 would be $20,300.
20,800. Yep. I'm sorry. 20,300. You're right. 20,800.
Okay. Perfect.
Now I don't have a CPA on here, but what I would say is if you're a sole proprietor, 1099, and you're making over 100,000 in net profit, you need to be in an LLC anyways, but that's a whole other conversation, right? So let's say we're going to keep going on this, and we got number of employees 1. Oh, by the way, if you're over 100,000, doesn't mean you can't get it, correct? It means all you can apply for is that lid. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. So just cap it at 100, and you can still apply.
Good. So purpose of the loan, which one do I need to check here?
This would be, we've been told to recommend payroll, especially for 1099, because that's what you're really going to be using it for. There might be a circumstance where if you've, used on your tax return where you've written off part of your home for business purposes, you might be able to use it for some of that. But really, it's just going to be payroll.
Yep. I want to make sure people understand that. Just put the payroll box. Okay. List all owners 20% or more. If you're a sole proprietor, you don't have any. So this would be more correct, Tiffany?
Yeah, and it does help us if you just fill in yourself there. So like if you're applying for yourself, just go ahead and fill it in. So there's no question.
So there I'd put Travis, title, boss, ownership, 100%.
Yeah.
My same information and address I put up here, I'd do it again, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Now we get into questions. All right.
Sure.
And these are just pretty basic questions that
they are. Yeah.
You should probably think and read and tell the truth on. And these are just things that are just common. Have you been disbarred or declared ineligible or bankruptcy? Hopefully no. Have you gotten an SBA loan before and been delinquent in the last 7 years? No. These are just yes and no questions. I'm not going to read them all, but you guys.
So, yeah, the one that might stick out that I think has been skipped over quite a bit is number 3. And it's basically saying, hey, do you have any interest in other businesses? And that would be something that you're going to need to think about and then attach like in a separate piece of paper. So let's say you own another LLC or you're involved in another business. You do need to mark yes there and then list those out. So.
And that's a great point, Tiff, because don't overcomplicate this, folks.
No.
All you have to do is put a piece of paper.
Yeah.
This is the name of my other business and attach it to this form, and that's it.
Yes.
So when you see addendum A, don't go, wait a minute, what is addendum A?
No.
It's yours. You just make it up, put it on there.
Write it on your child's artwork. We don't really care.
I don't care if it's on a Big Chief tablet and you write it with Big Chief tablet and crayons, just get it done, right?
Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay. So then we're going through these questions and they're just simply yes or no.
Yeah, you've got a couple spots to initial there on 5 and 6 after you've answered the question.
Okay.
And then you get into certifications. You're at certifications right there. You're initialing all of those. Basically, another key part is that you have to have been in business or operation by February 15th, 2020. So if you were not, then you are not eligible for this program.
And I want to point out whenever you're looking at these questions, the easy response after you go through a couple is probably no, but there is a question number 7 that would most likely be yes for that response. So make sure you're reading those questions and not just going through and just saying no, 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 no.
Right.
The one question I do have, just to clarify, question 8 does talk about anything franchise, but I mean, if you're an independent contractor, it would not go under the Keller Williams franchise.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
So it's going to be, it's going to be no. Mm-hmm.
Great question, Rachel. Great points. Read the questions when you're filling them out, folks. All right. So we get down here and we're in certification. You read these, you initial all this stuff. Let's talk about some very high level questions, and that's it. The next 2 pages are just pages for them to keep for the application process. When I get this done, what documents do I need to email you, Tiffany? I need to email you this completed form and what else?
Okay, and so the other document that we are going to need is basically the proof of the figures, and that's going to come from the Schedule C. So whichever you're using, if you're using 2018 or 2019, your Schedule C. And if you are not using 2019, you're going to send me your profit and loss for 2019.
Okay.
And then just to kind of help it out, and I think you can probably help me with this, Travis, is maybe we can also attach the ID verification form because I'm going to need to get those eventually too. So it's just a little form that asks your social security number and address and phone number and different things like that. So, pretty simple.
So those are the documents. Let's talk about forgiveness because some people are scared of this. It's a loan.
Sure.
I don't want to take this loan out. The economy goes, woo. I don't sell any homes now with the federal government, $20,000. What in the world?
Sure.
Tiffany, talk to that if you would, because my understanding of this loan is it's really a grant if you use it correctly. They don't want to give you money to go out and use it, but if you're using it to pay, it's designed to help support businesses for a couple of months get through a unparalleled time and be forgiven if they're used correctly. So tell me the difference of how do I know it's going to be forgiven, and what do I need to do to make sure it's forgiven?
And I'm speaking just mainly to 1099 contractors right now. There's other options for businesses, so it doesn't all apply across the board. But I have been privileged to sit on calls with the SBA every single day for like the last 2 weeks. And Travis kind of hit on it a little bit, but basically this was rolled out rather quickly, and they haven't gotten all the way through the process of trying to figure out how it's going to be forgiven. Now, what we do know is that the SBA has said over and over and over again, they want this to be forgiven. They want this money out into the hands of the people as soon as possible. The whole goal is to get it back into the economy. So like, I feel totally confident in saying that they want you to have this forgiven. And therefore, like you said, it'd be more like a grant, but that's the whole goal. So they're not trying to trick you. It's not like they're trying to, make you have a loan that you can't pay. That's not the goal at all. They want this money out being spent. So that being said, they don't have it entirely lined out as to how we're going to document the forgiveness. But basically, after the loan has been funded, which is a process that we'll do through the bank, we're not all banks are doing this, but we're setting up an account, so it's just very, very clear. So when you sign your loan package, you have a new account, which I know people are like, well, I don't want a new account. Well, it just makes it so much easier and it's so much more clear. And then you won't have the hassle of trying to track down check images and, different transfers in and out. But basically, we're telling the 1099 people until they give us further guidance as to forgiveness, maybe don't go take it all at once.
Come on.
I know. I want to. I'm like, I want to say, hey, go have fun. But we are still waiting for a little bit of direction for the 1099 people, because what we've been told basically is like, well, how are they? The SBA has even said, like, how are they going to document that it's for anything besides payroll, because you're self-employed and you're paying yourself. So that being said, we're suggesting, and they've kind of suggested too, don't take it all at once. Take maybe like a once a week payroll of sorts to yourself, split it up over the 56 days, that you get. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we have some more direction, and maybe we can reconvene at that time and discuss what you're going to need to show for that forgiveness. But I promise you, like the SBA has said over and over and over again, this is not a trick. This is truly to get money back into the economy. So I know that if you're like me, I'm kind of like, oh, like another deal that I have to sign, but really that's what they want. So
I want you to understand that there is a hook there to be responsible, right? Don't just go out and say, hey, the federal government paid for me to get a new car. No, that's not what they did. It provided you a buffer during unparalleled times. And so if I'm on the back end, who's going to verify this? Is this going to be you? Is this going to be the IRS? Is it going to be my accountant? Who's going to verify?
Yeah, sure. So what they've said from the SBA is that it's actually going to be the borrower certification that you attest to the use of the funds. That being said, I think there is some certain level of probably due diligence that the bank is going to do to maybe make sure that you're not totally lying. But if I were you, I would not fudge at all. I mean, we're dealing with the IRS and the Treasury, and just do the right thing. And the right thing for you is, of course, it's payroll, but use it like you would use your payroll whenever you pay yourself in your business. So
pay yourself, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Awesome.
confirm, whenever they get approved for these funds, an account will be opened up at State Bank where those funds will be held. Will you give them checks or a debit card, or how do you use those funds?
Sure. So, and this is kind of old school because not many people write checks. I couldn't find a check right now if I tried, but for this purpose, I mean, there's something nice about having a paper trail. And so we are giving like just a few checks and saying, because if let's say you're going to pay yourself 6, 7, 8 times over the course of 8 weeks, we're just putting some checks in there, and you can write the check to yourself and then go use your mobile deposit or whatever and take it to wherever you do your business at. Of course, we'd love to have you bank at State Bank, but I understand that, not everybody banks there, but we're trying to go a little old school with that and give the paper trail so that way it's pretty clear.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can have online banking. You can see it. But yeah, so that's how you get the money. Of course, you can always use the tellers, or we've talked about debit cards. We're trying to make this very simple for forgiveness.
Yeah.
So while it seems old school, it's not intended to be old school. It's really just intended to like help the consumer, help you guys really have it very cut and dry. Like, okay, for sure, this was used appropriately.
So I'm watching here on Facebook and looking at some comments too there. It looks like there was a question as far as the cap, and yes, that is the cap, but as I explained,
yes.
And you know, Amy just asked a question, are they definitely making some funds available yet? That's why we're shooting this video. I did not want to share this video with any of you when we were out of funds last week. I just said, well,
Sure.
you know, we'll pause, but it looked like Congress over the last 48 hours has really said it's a done deal. It's going to happen. So don't wait. So here's the form that exists now. And
yes.
we're going to send it to you now. There's other programs out there. This is PPP specific, okay?
Yes.
And the form that I've shared with all of you today is very specific as well, okay? And so let's ask that question, Tiff. What if they come out with a new version of this PPP?
Well, some people probably got a call at like midnight the night before the funds went live the first time, like, hey, you've got to fill out this new form.
Yeah.
We found the SBA said later, if you've got a form on file, then we're probably fine with it. But we just didn't want to, you know, risk any foul ups or hang ups with the forms. But we'll be in contact. And then I just want to kind of touch on that too. You said don't wait. I'm telling you, don't wait, because right now I'm, you know, all day long, basically just taking in applications and getting them ready. And I've promised that the minute the money is live, which the first weekend it was out, I think we worked over 45 hours that first weekend. We were up till 2 o'clock in the morning applying because we wanted to get, you know, on the front end of it. But I promise, is the minute the money is out, if your application is ready to go and it's through our internal process, like we will submit all night long. We will get you guys in there, and then basically that starts the clock, and then we'll get you the money. So don't wait until the money is there. Let's start, you know, working on this now.
Get it now, because if I remember correctly, Tiffany, when this first came out a couple of weeks ago, when we first learned about it, you know, I got it to you and you go, okay, you're place number 12 in line. And that's how you process them. So Guy, we're telling you right now, and Rachel, I think we can upload that into Facebook, that SBA document.
Yeah, and
You've
if you
already done it.
See that verification form for the ID as well, Tiffany, I can do that form as well.
That'd be great. And then basically just send that stuff to me. And like Travis mentioned, you know, it gets in the queue, and we're just kind of working our queue of completed applications. These are ready to go. And so as soon as the money are, you know, live in our system, I plan on just sitting down. There's another girl, we basically said, like, it doesn't matter if it's Saturday at 3 a.m. We're just going to sit down and start submitting. So,
yeah, you guys are.
When Tiffany said that they were up late, that's no joke. I mean, the Market Center, Dan can vouch for that. You were contacting him all the time, and we actually have some agents on our Facebook Live feed attesting to that as well. Stacey Jordan and Chris Day said it was super. You guys were so helpful and answering 24/7. So thank you for all you do for the Market Center. For our agents.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is great. This has been really exciting, and it's a great resource. And so hopefully, you know, it's kind of scary. And I was talking to another agent. Sometimes you all are 30 to 60 days behind. And so maybe you're not feeling the effects right now, but don't wait, you know, go ahead and plan, because we don't know what's going to happen over the next, you know, couple months here. So
thank you so much for this. It's been super valuable. Rachel's been recording this. We've been broadcasting live to Facebook. We're going to save and post it on our internal YouTube channel for people to watch later. Folks, fill this out. This is not overly complicated. We're going to give you Tiffany's email address and that loan application form, and get after it, folks. Thank you guys so much for all you've done for us. Tiffany, Rachel, always thank you to you.
Thank you.
And Guy, go get some of these funds right now, because the lean times may be coming. We want to get you there prepared now. So thank you very much, Tiffany.
And if there are any other questions, if there are any other questions, just feel free to reach out. So
we'll do it. Have a great one.
Thanks, guys.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye-bye.